What's good, family? You already know what it is, man. Pays and Plays podcast here, giving y'all conference championship week for college football. Yes, it is technically the last week, really, until bowl season, playoff games, and all that. If you haven't already, please check week 13 of NFL picks. Later on today, I might make a video about upsets to watch. Actually, you know what? I think I'm probably gonna do that right after this. So tune into that. But let's get right into it, man. Friday, we got New Mexico State versus Liberty. This is the Sun Belt, I want to say, or Conference USA. Conference USA, you got Liberty at minus 10-point favorites. I got Liberty to win the cover. I really like the over 55.5 points will be scored between these two. And man, look, Liberty, man, they've been explosive, bro, all year. New Mexico has been explosive all year. That's why I love the over 55.5 on both points. Teams will score at least somewhere close to the 30s. That's how I see this game. I can see Liberty winning. It could be a 35-20. Well, it could be a 36-20 game, and then you still cover the over 55.5. So my best bet now would be the over 55.5. Next game, you got Oregon and Washington. This is the Pac-12 one. They will be in Vegas. And you got Washington as a 10-point underdog. I'm going with Washington to cover, but Oregon will win this game. I know Washington has been in scenarios where they've been close to losing these games, and then they find a way to win. And I think they keep it close. Yes, they beat Oregon earlier in the year, and it was a 3-point game, and it wasn't for a missed field goal. We're talking about an overtime game. Bo Nix will score points, man. Penix score points. Let's look at the over-under, actually. Over-under is 66. I'm going to say under. I don't think it's too many points scored like last game. I think it's a little more competitive. It may be somewhere in the mid-50s, but I got Washington to cover the 10 points. Now, on to Saturday, you got Oklahoma State versus Texas. This is the Big 12 championship game. Believe it's in Jerry World. You got a plus 14 for Oklahoma State. This is easy. I got Oklahoma State to cover, Texas to win. Oklahoma State can score, and you can't sleep on this team, man. I don't went against this team. I don't watch this team. Don't go, Texas will win this game. Quentin Ewers will show out, but they do have some injuries, and their best running back is out for the year. So you kind of got to imagine how would this correlate. But I still see Texas win this game and possibly go into the college football playoff. Next, we got the MAC championship game over in Ford Field in Detroit. We got Toledo versus Miami, Ohio. Miami, Ohio is plus 7.5. I got Toledo to win, but I got Miami, Ohio to cover. Miami, Ohio is a real scrappy team, man. I picked Ohio to win the MAC, and Miami, Ohio beat Ohio to get into the MAC game, and I was shocked that even happened. Very feisty team, man, very competitive. Toledo, they can score, but they can't really stop anybody, man. So I think this game is very close. What's the over-under in this game? Let me see. 44. I think it goes under. It may be like a 17-10 game. In the hook would save you if you pick Miami, Ohio. Next game, we got Mountain West. Mountain West. We got Boise State against UNLV. UNLV is plus 2-point favorite underdogs. I got Boise State to win the cover. New interim coach came in, man, trying to give him the coaching job. I think he will be the coach there. This team has been revamped since he's been there. And I have to applaud UNLV, what they've been doing this year, but I think they need to just carry that momentum to next season. I just think Boise State is on a whole nother level. So I will be taking the favorite -2 in that game. And I believe it will be at Allegiant Stadium if I'm not. Well, you know what? I think it is in Allegiant Stadium. So I believe so because it is where UNLV will be playing at. Next game, we got SMU versus Tulane. SMU is plus 4.5-point underdogs. I got SMU to win the cover outright, slight underdog to win outright. It's just, I see SMU, man. They can play defense, they can score, they can, however level you want, and they can match that. Tulane, we've seen them on upset alert maybe for the last month. It's been games where they probably should have won big or they probably should have lost. This one, I think SMU goes into Tulane because I think this is the one where you got to go into the home field. I do think they go from Dallas right into New Orleans, and I think they go ahead and take that dub. So give me SMU on the money line and on the spread. Next game, this is probably the biggest game of the week. You got Alabama versus Georgia. Alabama is plus 5.5-point underdogs. I got Alabama to cover. A little sprinkle on the win, but I'm going with, I think Georgia could win, but I would sprinkle a little bit on the plus. Plus 5.5 is a good one, but to possibly win out is not bad either. I know they almost lost to Auburn, and you could probably say it was a look ahead spot. It absolutely probably was. But I mean, who has Georgia really played? Other than Missouri, who has Georgia really played this year? You answer that for me and you let me know, because I don't even know the answer to that, right? So I'm going with Alabama, more battle tested. I'm going with Alabama to cover. You know what? I think they win the game too. So let's go ahead. Alabama to win the cover. Next game, you got, now this is Sun Belt. You got Appalachian State traveling to Troy. You got Troy as minus 6.5 point favorites. I got Appalachian State to win and cover. It's because they show up for games like this. I think this is a traditionally programmed team that shows up in big games. Now, they were plus 18 earlier this year, and I said take plus 18 against UNC, and what they do, they cover. They covered against Jay Madison a couple of weeks ago. They were plus 8. They covered that. And it was on the road. So I think they can do the same thing here. Troy does have a solid defense, but so does App State. But App State actually has a better offense than Troy. So I'm going to go with App State to another upset, plus 6.5. I love that, but don't be surprised if they win. So I might sprinkle a little bit on the money line. And the last two, I get to the last two. I don't really know about the HBCU one. No offense to my HBCU people. I love y'all, but I don't know too much about them. We got Louisville and Florida State ACC championship game in Charlotte. Louisville plus 2.5 point underdogs. I got Florida State to win and the cover. And I think they lost momentum with Louisville, man. You lose to Kentucky, rival game. It was a look ahead spot. I know the situation with Florida State, there's no Jordan Travis, but I still think this team is somewhat competitive. And I just think they just have overall more talent, bro. Like, salute to what Louisville has done this year under the new head coach. But, you know, Florida State just has the better talent. And in this game will probably show. So I take the minus 2.5 with Florida State. And lastly, we have the game that everyone loves to talk about. We got Michigan and Iowa, Big Ten championship game. Michigan minus 23. I got Michigan to cover. Oh, the over-under is 35.5. And see, that's the crazy part, because we know Iowa's known for defense. I say it goes over because I believe Michigan will probably score close to 30. If Michigan scores 28, I can see Iowa maybe, I don't even know. Michigan got to pretty much score 5 touchdowns. So they score 5 touchdowns, and Iowa scores 2 field goals, bro. That's the game for that one, man. And college football playoff, my predictions. Let's see, my predictions. I do think Georgia gets knocked off. So it'll be Michigan. This is not an order. I'm not going to do it in 1-4. Michigan, Ohio State will get in some way, somehow. Alabama could possibly leapfrog, and I'll say Florida State if they win this game. Or really, whoever wins Oregon and Washington. That's going to be the 4th one. But don't be surprised if Florida State jumps up people too. That's my prediction. Georgia might stay in the top 4 if they even lose, depending on how bad they lose. So that's really also the case. But yeah, man. Like, subscribe, pass the word around. You already know what it is. Pays and plays.